Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well and making the most of your day. If you are new here, I am Christopher, and if you like lifestyle, luxury, planning and organization, home decor, basically if you like anything under the sun, you're going to find something that you love here on this channel. So go ahead and click that little red subscribe button. And if you are hanging out with me here on YouTube, you might as well hop on over to my Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram name here on the screen. I'll also leave it linked down below. I would love to catch up and connect with you over there as well. Today I am bringing a Q&A video to you that was very much requested because over Vlogmas the channel grew exponentially, and now as we approach 25,000 members of this awesome community, I realized that there are some things you need to learn about me. Last week on Instagram I asked what you wanted to know and you submitted a ton of questions. I will get to as many as I can, but I do not want to bore you, so I'm going to make it as quick as possible. What's your favorite skincare product? You will have to watch my January favorites video because I have been introduced from one of you to a new skincare line called Aesop. The two products I've been using have quickly climbed the ranks and it might become my favorite skincare brand. What is one thing you cannot live without? Well, Stephen and Bubba's would be the cliche answer, but very truthful at the same time. Books. I have to have books. I love to read. My question would be, how do you plan your week in your planner? Robin, that's a great question. I keep an electronic planner on my computer through Outlook for work, and then I sit down on Sundays and I fill in first all my personal life items like workouts at Orange Theory, nights out with friends, grabbing drinks with someone, and then I go in and fill out my work life through my Outlook, and I have to write it down. I'll sometimes during the day address my Outlook, but I still look at my written planner for the most part because that's where I make all the edits. I'm not very good at editing Outlook, but I sit down on Sunday, fill in my personal because I need to make time for those things that are most important to me, and then I fill in my work. And I make sure that everything is given a time, from my bath to my skincare routine to spending time with Steven or watching a TV show. I put everything in my planner. What is your biggest insecurity? I would say body image issues. I feel like that's everyone's biggest insecurity. From someone who is extremely heavy, the majority of my life, I didn't really lose any weight until I was mid-20s. I have a lot of body insecurity issues, and I think I'm still working to overcome them. What are your 3 top favorite products you live by under $50? I don't know what kind of products you mean, like skincare or just so you know, if I talk about a product, I'll leave it linked down below. There's this vegetable, I think it's called the Chefin chopper that I use all the time. I could not live without that, and I believe it's under $50. Another product I can't live without, the Origins Out of Trouble mask. That's under $50. I cannot live without that. It is the one thing that I can always go to clear up my skin. And lastly, a bath bomb. You can get a couple for under $50, but I have to have bath bombs from Lush. How do you deal with anxiety? Maybe one thing we've never talked about is I am an extremely anxious person, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to be really good at what I do. And I get extremely anxious. I always go to a bath, reading to distract myself. And then, this sounds corny, but it's the one thing that always works every single time, is deep breaths. I just close my eyes and I breathe deep several times, and that's what I go to. Steven is also really good at sensing my anxiety, and like he immediately tries to talk to me about it and like open me up, and I find the more I talk about it, the better I feel. Even if I tell him I don't want to talk about it, he really pushes me to. But I'm extremely, extremely anxious. I think I get that from my grandmother. She was extremely anxious and always worried about everything, and I am exactly the same. But one thing I'm learning more nowadays is that usually the thing that I'm anxious about, I've created a narrative in my head around the situation. And if I can stop myself in the moment and be like, I'm creating this, I have no evidence to support that this is actually what has occurred. I'm literally creating a movie in my head of what I think has happened. So I try to catch myself on that. And then the other thing is, I find, especially being a manager of a lot of people, that when people are anxious and worrying and feeling stressed, so much of it is self-induced. So when you actually step back and you're like, what is putting the stress on me? It is typically ourselves and our need for perfection. I'm anxious answering that question. Where are the next places you want to travel? Oh, we have a couple places on our list. Croatia is one. We want to get somewhere in Asia at some point. India is on our list. Morocco is on our list. We have a lot of places that we want to travel to and are excited to. I think one of our next trips is Steven is custom building a Volvo, and we are going to be going over, because this is his dream, we are going to go over to Sweden and actually pick it up. He's going to drive it along the European countryside, and then we will have it shipped back to the United States. So that's a trip that we're planning most likely in June and July. New subscribers here. Aside from being one of my favorite kindness gurus, what do you do for a living? This is the ultimate question. I'm not going to share a whole bunch about it because I do like to keep this part of my life very private, just because I'm responsible for a lot of people. I work for a nonprofit organization whose focus and mission is to help underserved communities with educational equality. Because education is a right. It is not based or determined off of where you live. It is a right that every person has and every kid has to get the best education they can get. So I work for a nonprofit whose main focus is that. That is stationed out of Manhattan, so that is why I travel a lot of times for work, but it is my life's work. People ask me, would you quit your job to pursue YouTube? Absolutely not. Like, this is what I was put on the planet to do. It is why I take it so seriously and why I get anxious about it, because I do take it so seriously. Are you going to make Wine Wednesdays on Instagram Live a scheduled thing? Would you guys want to do Wine Wednesdays on Instagram Live every Wednesday? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're into it, I can see what I can do. Wednesday might not be the best day, but if you are into like a scheduled Instagram Live every week, let me know. The story of Bubba's, when did you get him? We rescued Bubba's. Bubba's is a rescue dog from the Charlotte, North Carolina Humane Society. We have had him now for 9 years. He is 10 years old. He's somewhere between 1 and 2 when we got him, so we just say he's 10. We love him so much. The day we found him, we fell in love with him. And we went home that night. We didn't get him the first day, and I convinced Steven over the evening to go and get him, and we actually drove there before the Humane Society opened, and there were people behind us, and we had already played with him, so we went straight in. We're like, we're adopting him, that's it. And the people that were next in line were there to see him because he had been posted online. And yeah, we lucked out. Love your attitude and message. How are you able to overcome negative attitudes around you? That is a very, very good question. I think I always, for those who don't know my past, I was extremely bullied as a kid. Like, I don't use that word bullying lightly. Like, what I experienced was legitimate bullying. I had an apple slammed into the side of my head so hard that we thought my eardrum had been ruptured. I was essentially tortured all through middle school and high school. And I forgive all of those kids. They don't know what they were doing at the time. They thought they were being cool. How do you overcome it? You have really great family and you talk to them. And my parents are the sole, and my grandmother are the sole reason why I got through all of that. Nowadays, when I experience negativity, whether it is in my workplace or in my personal life, what I realize is that it says so much more about them than it says about me. And when someone attacks you, it is usually out of their insecurities that drive them to do that. So I often think of the Sarah Silverman article, I'll leave it linked down below, of how she approached someone who said something negative to her. And she went from a root of compassion and said, like, I'm sorry you're so hurt. What can I do to help? And like, it deflates the situation. And that reminds me something that I've heard said so many times, and it's love them more. Like, people who hurt you are hurt people, because people who are hurt others. And if you can find that level of compassion when someone is pushing negative energy towards you, I think that's the way to go. And also, if there's negativity around you, excuse yourself from it, whether it's gossip or a fight or an argument of any kind. Take yourself out of the situation and don't get yourself roped up into it. That's really how I operate. If you treat me poorly, I try to forgive you very quickly and like move forward. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that's what I would say. Do you have any goals for 2018? I want to get in better shape. That's always a goal. I really love Orange Theory, but like right now life and work has been very chaotic. So I don't feel like I've found my schedule yet that works for me, but getting on a really set schedule with that is one of my goals of 2018. We'll see what happens. I'm not a big goal setter. I think I talked about this in a vlog. Like, I'm just gonna try to do better. That's it. All the areas of my life, I'm gonna try to do a little bit better. And some I will and some I won't. And it'll be okay. And next year will come just the same. Bobby, hi. Who's coming to see me? Who come to see me? Hi. Hello, Nugget. Hello, Nugget. Hi. 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 Who's the best doggy? How do you handle people being rude directly to you with still standing up for yourself and not being rude as well? I call them out on it. I will say something like, you seem really frustrated right now. What is that about? And just really try to deflate the situation. I try not to talk over them. That's the worst thing you could ever do. I just really let them get it all out and listen. And realize that there's typically a much bigger root to something, and it is far less about me and more about something else going on with them. And I will just say, like, your tone is really unacceptable right now. Like, when you feel like you can have the conversation, I'd love to have it with you, but right now is not the time. Who is the better cook? Me, of course. Steven is getting there, but like when he cooks, the fire company may be called because that has actually happened. The best vacation you and Steven ever took. I would love to have him here right now and ask him what his is, but mine would have to be Estremos, Portugal. It is like this little village. It was magical. There wasn't a lot to do, so we read a lot. We walked around a lot. We had a really good dinner at the one restaurant that was there next to our posada that we stayed in. And it was just a great, great trip. We had such a good time. Will you do more vlogs? I just posted one from the weekend. My filming schedule is going to be vlogs on the weekends, sit-down videos on Wednesdays. What was Steven's first reaction when you told him you were starting a YouTube channel? He said, go for it. And I think I filmed and posted my first video without telling him. But that first video, I look back at it and I'm like, oh my, I was not good at filming. I'm still not good at filming or editing or any of that, but I'm getting better for sure. Where do you see your life in the next 10 years? Have you always been so positive? Where did it come from? In the next 10 years, I'll be 46 years old. And I hope I'm right where I'm at. I'm so content in my life. I think that's where so much of my positivity radiates from. I'm so content in my life. I love my home. I love Steven. I love our dog. I love my job. I love my family. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy. Have you always been positive? No, I'd say like going through the bullying of my middle school and high school years, I was very negative. Also when I really struggled with my weight, not negative, but like definitely like masked how I felt. I now will say for probably the last 10, 12 years, I've been truly, truly happy in my life. Truly happy. Have you ever thought of moving? And if so, where would you go? I think Steven and I, when we retire, when we're old and gray, Steven will get there before me. I think we will end up in Arizona. We love Arizona. One of you, and I know it's in here somewhere, around Carefree, Arizona, why we love it in particular. It's really quiet. We find it so peaceful. We go to the boulders in Carefree all the time. We just love it there. We love the weather. The heat doesn't bother us because it's like the dry heat. It's not humid. It's just where I could see us being when we're old. What's your workout routine look like? I do Orange Theory. I try to get 3 days a week, but that's been really challenging lately. But like when I get into my routine, Orange Theory 3 to 4 times a week. And then on those off days, I do my Peloton bike or a workout DVD here at home. Do you ever experience procrastination and how do you push through it? I am the furthest thing from a procrastinator. It was so funny because I had a task at work where I had like a runway of like a week and I turned it around in like 2 days. I can't procrastinate. I don't do my best work under pressure. That's just not how I operate. So I am the worst person to ask for tips around procrastination because my tip would be don't do it. How do you keep your house so clean? Do you have a cleaning person, a cleaning routine? Could you share? Steven and I are just both really neat people. We do not have a cleaning lady. We had a really bad experience with one 4 years ago. We will never do it again. I don't mind cleaning. I would say like on the weekends is when I do my dusting and baseboards and deep cleans, but Steven and I don't go to bed unless all the dishes are put away, everything is tucked in its spot, everything in our house has a place. So for us to clean up, it's really simple. Steven's military background makes him a very neat person. Like he is making the bed first thing in the morning, and then I do a lot of like the dusting and like surface cleaning around the house. But we don't have kids. Bubba's doesn't really make any messes. Well, he doesn't make any messes in the house ever. It's just very easy to maintain. For a house this size, we really don't struggle to keep it clean. What is one dream you have for the future of your channel? Well, my goal for this year is to reach 35,000 subscribers. That is my only goal for 2018. I don't have any big dreams for it. I just want it to reach as many people because I think it's a really positive space. And when you read the comments, or if you join the kindness community, which I'll leave linked down below, that was a product of this channel, I really think it's making a difference in people's lives, and it's sending a message of positivity. And I don't know, it's just such a happy space to be in, and I want to share it with as many people, and I want it to reach as many people as possible. Have you ever thought of writing a book? I actually have the title in my head. It would be What Certain Life Experiences Have Taught Me, and then Lessons I've Learned. I don't even know how you go about writing a book. I don't know anything about it, but I have thought about it, and many of you have asked me about that. Are you aware that you have had a ripple effect on so many people? Kindness has become something people think about again, and I truly believe you are a part of that. I do think that it has had an impact. You guys are the living proof of it. Some of the messages you send around, like getting through a tough time, or being nicer to other people, or going out of your way to do random acts of kindness, like that's amazing. And that's why my only goal for the channel is to push it to more people, so that more people do this and that we create a ripple effect. Yeah, we have to talk about kindness. We have to show kindness. We have to be models of kindness. And when we model it, we have to name it for people so that then they can take it and replicate it and continue it. That's all I want. That's all I want. If you were to collaborate with any product or YouTuber, who would it be? I don't know. I mean, I don't envision anyone wanting to collaborate with me, but I think people that I would collaborate with are all the people I mention all the time. But like, not gonna happen. I love the collaboration I did with Christy Russell, where she took the spring trends and I translated them into home decor. I want to do, Christy, if you're watching this, we should definitely do that again. I know we tried to coordinate it, but schedules were tough. We should definitely do it again because that was a fun one. I mean, it would have to just be something that's really aligned with me. A person who if I could figure out how to collab with them, would be Glitter and Lasers Anna. She's another one that I found in November who I love. But honestly, all the people that I talk about all the time, Jennifer Ross, Marnie Goldberg, Christina Brawley, Haley Cairo, all of them. They're just so great. They're so great. But yeah, I would collaborate with anyone if it felt like the right fit. And I would be honored, humbled, and very anxious. How did you and Steven meet? Steven and I met at a Christmas party he wasn't invited to. I met this girl, we hit it off, we started talking. I was about to leave because I wasn't enjoying myself, and she called up Steven, was like, I just met this guy, you have to come meet him. He showed up, we talked, and started dating very soon after. What was your favorite advent calendar this year? It was the Rituals calendar. I will buy it again. The sample sizes were big. They went through a variety of products. I really enjoyed it. I would not purchase the Diptyque advent calendar again unless they decide to revamp it, because that is the second year I've had it and it was identical. As much as I love the candles, I'll just buy the candles when I need them and I'll save the $400 and use it elsewhere because it was very similar. What do you consider the most covetable trait when hiring a new team member at work? I'm actually in the process of, going to be beginning the process of hiring a bunch of new people, and I look for very few things. I look for you to be intelligent and willing to take feedback. I look for you to have humbleness in the work that we do and a sense of humor. If you are smart and can take feedback and implement it, and you are humble and you are funny and can laugh, because work can get tough, If you can do those 3 things, I almost will always hire you. I also find that if you have some sort of personal connection, I typically end up crying in your interview. And I would say the majority of the people I've hired, I've cried in their interview and then have hugged them. Because that's not awkward to go to your interview and the person interviewing you is crying and hugging you. What would be your first question after waking up from being cryogenically frozen for 100 years? 2 just popped in my brain. Where am I? And is everyone okay? What has been the toughest life experience and how much has it changed you? It has been definitely the loss of my grandmother has been the toughest life experience. My grandmother was my best friend, the reason I am who I am, the wisest person that I went to with advice for cooking something versus like serious life advice. She was the second person I called with exciting news, sometimes the first. She was everything to me. And that has been the toughest like experience. But what it has taught me though is because so many of my best memories and worst memories and basically every memory is tied to her in some way or capacity, I'm really able to hold on to her and like use those memories to get through it. And what I've learned in that moment is that that's our goal in life, is to make as many positive experiences, and even if they're negative, connect people with them and people you care about, because those are the things that will last you when they're gone. Yeah, but losing my grandmother, I still don't think I know I'm not over it. And it's been over a year now, but it's been the toughest. If you could attend any concert this year, whose would it be? It would be Kelly Clarkson's, because I love her new album, Meaning of Life. It was probably my favorite album of 2017. It was so good. And I want to hear her sing some of those songs live. Bubba's is such a cute nickname for a dog. What is Bubba's real name? He's right over there. Bubba's real name is Toby. His legal name is Toby, but he was only called that for about 2 days, and then it was Bubba's. All done. The Saturday mail has gone. Can you make a video or 2 helping others starting their own YouTube channel with advice? If you are looking for a video on how to start a YouTube channel, go ahead and leave a comment. If there's enough of you, I would be open to it. I don't know if I'm the person to give advice. I'm very new at this as well. But one thing I would tell people is tough out the first couple months, because not many people are watching videos and they take a lot of time to create. And to make sure you know what your core vision is for your channel, or like what you want to accomplish with it, and stay true to that and don't waver in that vision for what you want to accomplish. Would you ever consider doing a regular series on home design and decor? I want to do a series on home design and decor. I would love to like let friends help me make over spaces in their house. I think it would be so much fun. Danielle and I were actually just talking about this. It would be a blast. The other thing I thought of doing would be people to submit their design dilemmas to me, whether it is through pictures or a video, and that I would address them. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I think it would be really fun, and you could email me the design dilemma and I could give you advice based off of what I see. I think that'd be fun. What has been the hardest point of your YouTube journey? Those first videos where no one is viewing it. That is really tough, because you work really hard and you're like, why am I spending all this time? The best part is the connection with all of you. Like, I truly know so many of you, and that is totally rad. Does anyone even say rad anymore? But I think it's really awesome. I've also met and made some really great friends. I definitely consider them friends, and that's cool. Do you dislike when people call you by a nickname? A little. I like to be called Christopher. That's my name, and I think it's respectful to use it. I'm not big on nicknames, so. Does Steven spell his name with a V or a PH? Let's clarify this so that everyone can spell it correctly in the comments. It is Steven. All right, my friends, that is a lot of questions, and I got to as many as I can, but we'll do a Q&A again in the future. I hope you liked this video. I hope you feel a little bit more connected to me, but I will leave this video like I leave all of them. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and be kind. Kindness is free. Give it to everyone. Until next time.